From the moment a human becomes aware of himself, something subtle begins to grow inside him. Not fear, not weakness, but comparison. Alfred Adler believed that no human moves forward because he feels complete. We move because we feel incomplete, because something inside us whispers, "I am not enough yet." A child doesn't feel inferior because he is weak. He feels inferior because he notices strength in others. And from that silent comparison, a question is born. How do I rise? This question is the hidden engine behind ambition, creativity, obsession, and even destruction. Adler called this process compensation. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Compensation is not optional. Every human compensates. The real danger is not that we compensate, but how. Some people compensate through growth. They learn. They build skills. They endure discomfort. They transform pain into purpose. Others compensate through illusion. They dominate. They seek attention. They inflate their ego. They demand respect instead of earning it. Look closely at the world around you. The loudest voice is rarely the strongest. The most aggressive person is rarely the most confident, and the one who constantly seeks validation is often fighting a silent war inside. Adler understood something most people miss. Humans don't seek superiority over others. They seek escape from the feeling of inferiority. That's why some people chase power. That's why some chase status. That's why some chase control. Not because they are strong, but because they are running. True strength does not announce itself. It doesn't need to prove. It doesn't need permission. A strong person is focused on becoming better. A weak person is focused on appearing better. And this distinction changes everything. If compensation becomes unhealthy, the personality begins to fracture. The person stops building and starts pretending, stops growing and starts attacking. And the tragedy is, most never realize it's happening. If any of this feels uncomfortably familiar, stay with me, because the next part reveals the most dangerous form of compensation, the kind that looks like confidence, but slowly destroys the self from the inside. Adler drew a clear line between two paths. One path leads to strength. The other leads to self-destruction. Healthy compensation begins with honesty, not self-hatred, not shame, but awareness. I am lacking here. I am afraid here. I feel small here. This kind of honesty doesn't weaken you. It frees you, because once a person stops denying his inner gaps, he can redirect his energy toward growth. Unhealthy compensation begins with avoidance. Avoiding the truth, avoiding vulnerability, avoiding responsibility. And from that avoidance, masks are born. Arrogance, control, superiority, contempt for others. Adler was blunt about this. Anyone who needs to crush others to feel powerful is already defeated internally. True strength is quiet, stable, responsible. It doesn't rush to dominate. It doesn't fear disagreement. It doesn't panic when challenged. And here's the question Adler forces us to face. What do you do with your sense of inferiority? Do you turn it into discipline? Or excuses? Into focus? Or resentment? Everyone has weaknesses, but not everyone lets them define their destiny. The difference between a broken personality and an unbreakable one is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It is the direction of compensation. When compensation is healthy, a person becomes self-directed, no longer controlled by the past, no longer enslaved by insecurity. And this is Adler's most radical idea. You are not a victim of what you feel. You are responsible for what you do with it. If you've stayed until now, you're not here for motivation. You're here for understanding. And if you want to continue breaking down the hidden mechanics of the human mind and building a personality that doesn't rely on masks or illusions, subscribe now, because what comes next goes deeper, gets darker, and tells the truth most people avoid.